Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. So here on the 4-hour chart, as you can see, there's not much going on. It's a pretty boring day today. I don't really have too much to say, but yesterday we invalidated the entire 1-2 setup, and right now we're trying to get a reaction to the much bigger 0.786 support level of the entire AB structure, but to be honest with you, there is a big chance that we drop below the support zone just because for the time being, if you look at the Bitcoin chart on the weekly, it looks like it wants to get to the oversold territory before we actually continue with a much bigger move to the upside, and this could mean that maybe this cycle is gonna overextend just because we only got to the oversold territory about 4 times in the past on the weekly, and each time we did that, as you can see, that marked a pretty significant low, and then after that we went up quite a lot. So getting oversold right now could be the best thing to do, but even if we do not get oversold, you have to understand that what we did back here in 2020 looks very similar to what we are doing right now. So this drop was the pandemic drop, and as you can see, during this drop the RSI also dropped quite a lot. It went from, let's say, 62 all the way down to about 34, and right now we are pretty much at the exact same numbers. We went from, let's say, 63 on the RSI to now being again at 34. So this could be like the pandemic drop and maybe not like the bear market lows, but even if that is the case, I think this cycle could overextend until May, because here, for example, after we found a low, we went up for about 6 months, and here we did the exact same thing. We found a low and then we went up for 6 months, and this year that happened again. We found that low and then we went up again for 6 months. So if we find a low and then we start going up to all-time highs, I think there is a chance that Bitcoin is going to go up for another 6 months. Obviously, maybe that's not going to play out, but I think a move to the bull market support band is still going to happen at some point, because it always happens even in a bear market. But I'm not sure if this is a bear market because the RSI dropped quite a lot in a very short amount of time. Usually in a bear market, the RSI drops very slowly. For example, back here, it took a long time to get to the oversold territory. From the all-time high to where we got to the oversold territory, it took about 31 weeks, and back in 2017, from that all-time high to the oversold territory, it took 52 weeks. So as you can see, it usually takes much longer than 1 month like I did right now. And yes, I know that I said that if we close below the trend line on the RSI right there, it could mean that we are already in a bear market, but to be honest with you, like I mentioned already, the RSI dropped way too fast, which means that this could actually be a fake out and we could be at all-time highs in the next couple of weeks. So this is how I see this playing out, and if you go on the USDT dominance chart, it's currently overbought on the weekly, and this has not happened since this point over here, I believe back in June of 2022. Here it dropped about 40%, and if you take a look at what Bitcoin did during that time, back in June of 2022, it was right here. It went from $17,000 all the way up to about $25,000, and it got a move to the bull market support band. But I could show you a couple of other examples. For example, here back in, I believe, September of 2020, as you can see, we went down about 62% on this chart after we got to the overbought territory, and during that time Bitcoin, it was somewhere in this area, and then after that it got this big move to the upside. So getting overbought on this chart is usually very good, and as you can see, we have many examples on the chart which show you that getting overbought usually means that the market is gonna start going up. So we'll see how this plays out, but for the time being we have to close in the overbought territory. So if this continues to go up tomorrow, am I gonna be surprised? And going back to the ADA chart here, we are still at the trend line on the weekly chart, so as long as we manage to stay above that, we are fine, and dropping below the 0.786 is still okay, but you have to understand we have to stay above that low right there at about 27.3 cents if we want this setup to still be valid, because otherwise this, much bigger 1-2 AB structure is no longer gonna work, and instead the only thing that I can give you after that would be some kind of maybe 1-2 setup. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.